Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the AFE Apollo GT Series 3-inch muffler delete pipe fitting 2019 and newer 5.3-liter Sierra 1500s. This is an excellent way for Sierra owners to get some more volume and more of that V8 soundtrack out of their 5.3 for a really excellent price. On our loudness meter, we're going to give this one a pretty strong 3 out of 5. It really accentuates the grumble of the Vortec V8, comparably so to a full catback, but it does it without the same cost. Now, there's no shortage of exhaust choices for the Sierra and all these GM trucks, but those things can get expensive. So if you want the extra sound without having to do a full exhaust, this is the way to make it happen. Now, this is just going to take the place of your factory muffler out in the center of your stock system. It's going to keep your factory tip, catalytic converter, and all of that, so it will end up looking a lot like your factory system, but the sound is going to be quite different. Since you're effectively turning your exhaust into a straight-through setup, as you heard from the clips in the beginning of our video here, this is going to be quite a bit louder. So it's going to unlock that trademark GM V8 sound. It's deep, it's burbly, and it really wakes things up, since your stock muffler is quite restrictive, and these trucks are pretty quiet from the factory. Now, this is going to flow better than stock as well because, well, it's less restrictive. There's really nothing in there, it's just a section of pipe. So though it's not necessarily going to suddenly give you a ton of power, you can expect some gains over stock just because things are going to breathe a little bit better. Now, more noise outside, of course, means that it will also be louder inside of the cabin as well. Now, that's not to say it's going to rattle your eardrums though. You're again going to get more of that excellent V8 soundtrack, but you'll still be able to listen to your favorite songs or easily hold a conversation without having to crank up the volume of the stereo or of your own voice. The pipe is made from 3-inch diameter 409 grade stainless steel, making it a good compromise between cost and protection, and it's going to match up well to your stock system. It is still going to do a pretty good job at resisting rust and corrosion, and it's all mandrel bent here, so it's nice and smooth, and all of it's going to flow really nicely. It also makes for an easy installation as well, because you've got your clamps already included too. Pricing might just be the best part here though, because this is only going to run you about $175. And in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to exhaust, that is pretty much a drop in the bucket. Anything under $200 is really a great price for this, because a full catback is going to run you quite a bit more than that. So if you're looking for an economical and budget-friendly way to get more sound out of your truck, this is going to do the trick for you. When it comes to installation, we're going to give this a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and it should take you about 2 hours to complete the job. Now, you are going to have to get a saw or a Sawzall type of machine to cut your stock muffler out. So make sure you've got your measuring tape, your marking tools, and that saw that's nice and sharp. It's not going to take you very long. Again, make sure you measure it a couple times just to be sure that it's right. Make your 2 cuts, and then this is going to clamp right in place of it. Not much more we can say about it here, so with that, we're going to hand the torch over to one of our AT customers who's going to walk you through the process.
So the tools I use for the work, always safety glasses, shop light, you can see what you're doing underneath the vehicle, tape measure, tape and marker, mark out the locations of where the cuts are going to be at, 4-inch grinder, with a metal cutoff wheel, and then followed up by a metal blade for the reciprocating Sawzall, and then tighten the couple of bolts up with the 15 millimeter socket wrench, along with a jack stand to help hold the OE muffler in place during the removal, and a vice clamp that I used to hold the first section, the front section, after cut, to hold it in place while I was able to remove and cut the back. So today we are going to be installing a AFE muffler delete kit on a 2021 GMC Sierra with the 5.3 liter. So prior to getting started, I crawled underneath the truck and assessed how the muffler system and the exhaust system was supported, see what kind of play I have, and kind of just assess everything before you just get in there and start cutting. So instructions call for to cut the factory on the front, towards the front of the truck, just in front of the muffler, right at that pipe, so we don't want to go past that sensor valve. So I taped it off, put a little mark in, And then we want to go to the back of it. I tape that off and I put a mark at 2 3/4 of an inch off the face of the muffler. So we're going to take a metal Sawzall blade and cut through both of those and drop this muffler, this OE muffler, out of the way. So I've set up a jack stand underneath the muffler to hold this, because obviously, like everybody's going to watch this video is probably going to be doing it by themselves. So here I am trying to do it by myself and set up and record. So, but I did set the jack stand up underneath. So I also have a vice clamp quick grip. So what I'm hoping to do is to be able to cut this and then clamp this up there to kind of still hold it in place while I'm able to cut the other side. So now that I was able to cut through on the front side of the muffler, again, it's loose, so I want to before I cut the other side, I want to try to secure it so that way it doesn't fall and I take a chance of damaging the truck or whatever. But so I was able to use the clamps, set the clamp in there just to kind of hold everything in place. Got the jack stand still in the middle, so I'm going to work my way to the back side, go ahead and cut that the back side of the muffler off and get this thing out of here. So as we move around to the back of the truck, again, we marked according to the instructions. We went 2 3/4 inches off the back of the muffler, put a mark there. So I will cut that mark all the way through. I did find it on the front half, the front side, to actually use a grinder with a cutoff wheel to get the line going and then follow it up with the Sawzall to go through. So again, just be cautious of what you're using, sparks and everything around with the gas tank, and then any of your drive shaft, any other parts, brake line, stuff like that when you're using saws and grinders up underneath the vehicle. So we're about to get all the way through it. We want to just make sure we hold and secure everything nice and tight so we don't have any issues. Clamp on the front, and then now slowly rotate our OE factory muffler out of the way. So with the OE factory muffler out of the way, you're able to get in here and you do have a little bit of play. Looking at it, the way AFE designed this straight pipe on this end down here, this long end, we are able to actually not have to take the entire rear system off, but we want to just offset that, and then you have enough room where you can slide this all the way up and then be able to bring that back in and tie that back to where it needs to be. Crawl underneath. You want to check, make sure everything looks good and looks in line. Again, when you go to tighten these clamps down, it's best that you put the clamps to the top. That way they don't catch anything, debris, branches, anything like that. Just kind of keeps everything nice and clean up underneath the truck. So we're going to go ahead and get our 15mm. And we're going to go ahead and tighten these brackets down, make all the, actually before we do that, we're going to go through, double check all the rear exhaust portion to make sure everything is set back in place properly. And then that way, once everything looks good and feels good, then we'll go through and tighten these up. So now that we've gone through and double checked all the rear, make sure all the back portion of the exhaust is pulled back up forward. We're able to go through, pull everything in nice and tight. You've got a little bit of adjustments on being able to roll this tube up, so which I did. I tried to roll it up and try to pull that muffler system up a little bit higher. Moved the clamps to the top side, took 15mm socket, snugged everything down, kept it about 1/4 inch from the ends, tightened everything down. So
Gonna hop inside and give it a quick crank up, and then we'll bring the camera to the backside with the exhaust.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the AFE Apollo GT Series 3-inch muffler delete pipe fitting 2019 and newer 5.3 liter Sierra 1500s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Sierra, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.